KCAL News Mornings.
All right, round two of Rise and Rain. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 6th. Thanks for joining us on KCAL News at 5. I'm Chris Holmstraw.
And I'm Kalina Estrinos and for Marcy Gonzalez. And we are getting ready for all of that rain. Rain continues to pour all over Southern California. It is not letting up yet. So we have some of the impacts it's having right here at home, including this. Also, dangerous driving conditions also continue this morning. Already seeing shutdowns on the roadways. We will take you live to Monrovia, where a crash there involving an overturned semi will impact commuters.
I've never seen anything like this here. It was like literally a river on the road.
Flooding, mudslides, even rescues. Residents this morning waking up to a massive mess in communities around SoCal. We're going to look at some of the damage and also the cleanup efforts underway.
Meanwhile, fresh snow dropped on our local mountains. See the stunning images is how they have transformed.
That looks so pretty.
You just want to dive right in and see how far down you go.
I love it. I mean, yeah, we're getting all this rain, but also our mountains need snow. And
Yeah, that looks beautiful.
not only for the environment, but also for entertainment.
Yeah.
We haven't made fun of Chris and not washing his car lately.
Because
so
I mean,
he can't, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now's not the right time, right?
No,
Yeah.
do not
So
wash your
don't
car.
wash your
yeah.
car.
Yeah.
Okay, you hear
Your
that
excuse.
at home? You don't
but
have to
I
wash
will
your car
tell you
yet.
when you can begin to wash your car, right?
Yes.
To wash off all the rain.
It's going to feel good.
Yeah, it's gonna be really nice.
Like a new beginning.
I feel like he thinks it's a new beginning because he hasn't washed his car, so it's like all this rain is
New
giving
car,
him
new me.
new life for
New
his
car, new me.
All right, let's talk about the radar right now. Okay, this is what's happening. Definitely don't wash your car today because you won't need it. Mother Nature is going to wash it for you. Take a look at all that rain that continues to come down because of this atmospheric river. So what's happening today is that we're going to see a lot of this cold air right behind this system. We thought that we're going to see some isolated thunderstorms yesterday, but we didn't see it because that cold air is still working its way down. So we have a better chance for those isolated thunderstorms to pick up once we head toward the afternoon right behind this front. So we're still dealing with all that steady rain. We still have this flash flood warning in place from Agoura Hills all the way toward areas like Studio City here and then also portions of downtown LA. So this is something that we're watching really closely because the rain rates continue to come down about ½ an inch to an inch, causing more flooding and possibly mud and debris flow. And then as we head toward the rest of the morning, we're still going to see that rain come down. And then finally, we're looking at that rain turning into showers. So our flood threat, not quite as high as yesterday, but we still have that threat here across Southern California. I will have more details on when things will start to dry out before but there is one caveat, so I will let you know what I'm talking about coming up a little bit later. Back to you guys.
Okay, what a tease, Amber. Thank you. As we head out the door, we are taking you out to the 405 through Sepulveda Pass. You can see flashing lights on the roadway there. Looks like those crews might be going to some type of closure or some type of incident because we've been seeing so many things popping up, mostly drivers losing control because of the slick conditions. So please be careful as you head out the door. We have a couple sig alerts happening right now. This one's one of them. It's a crash southbound 5 at Roxford. 3 left lanes are blocked off. You can see that backup coming off the 514. We also have this incident, 105 West at Long Beach Boulevard. The right lane is blocked off. That's a backup from before the 710, but for this one, you could take the 91 or the 405 to get around it. And then we also have this sig alert. It's a crash on the eastbound 210 past Huntington Drive. Only the carpool lane is open. And we do want to get out to our very own Cara Finstrom with the latest on this crash here on the 210. Cara, the activity behind you, you can see so much going on. What do you know so far?
Kalina, some more tow trucks just arrived to upright and pull off those big rigs that were involved. And you can see one of the big rigs on its side up there with the load all over the 210 here. Just above it, there is a hole that was punched into the freeway wall when it slammed through. Let's go to some video shot earlier. The CHP says 5 or 6 vehicles, 3 of them big rigs, were involved in a domino of collisions. They got a call about the first crash here on the eastbound 210 near Huntington Drive right around 2:30 this morning. They say by the time they got here, the other collisions had also taken place and that heavy rain clearly played a role here. Fortunately, the CHP says it appears there were only minor injuries, but at least 2 people were taken to the hospital to be checked out. And as I mentioned, there's damage to the wall here. So Caltrans has put a hard closure into effect with only the carpool lane open right now. That's going to impact that morning commute. We spoke with a sergeant who says they have been going nonstop since the storm started.
The increased number of crashes due to the weather is something that we are contending with, but we're here to help, and we're just going to continue to take one incident at a time. But we just ask that the public would also be mindful of some of these weather issues that are coming up for the first time in a while.
Yeah, the rain is continuing, and I can tell you that on our way here on the 210, a separate spin out stopped us earlier this morning. We had to stop behind it. So it's a mess out here. Slow down, give yourself extra time as you head out to work. And the last word we had here is it could be another 2 hours before this is fully cleared. Back to you.
Cara, thank you so much. And also just a reminder for drivers to get around the 210, you can always take the 10 or the 60 heading eastbound to help you with that closure. Cara, thank you.
We have some more breaking news for you. A deadly accident is under investigation. This is in Moreno Valley. It happened around 11 last night at Cactus Avenue and Kitching Street. At least 3 vehicles were involved and 1 crashed into the wash. The area remains closed while this investigation continues. Well, people in Tarzana are on edge after a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes in a neighborhood.
And there's growing concern now with more rain ahead. We want to get out to KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez running us live right now with a closer look at this damage. Rick, good morning.
Yeah, Kalina, Chris, you know, there is a lot that has happened in these hillsides of Los Angeles since the storm started. One of them right here, I mean, you see all of this mud and debris, trees and everything that came down. This is actually much higher, though, because crews yesterday morning were able to clear out at least 1 lane of the road here. That's what we showed you yesterday at 5 a.m. All of that mud came down from this hillside here. And you see how it just came down. There's some exposed piping and things like that when this happened on Monday morning, but it's still what they're dealing with. Let's show you some video because this pales in comparison to what we saw once we launched KCAL yesterday. Flying over a home here nearby where you can see the foundation of that house is exposed after the land gave way beneath it. So that home is on Gable Drive. The home beneath it is on Boris Drive, which is the street that we are on right now, just around the corner from there. So a couple of different incidents happened here with landslides, mudslides, debris flow, whatever you want to call it. All of this earth moving and causing damage. 3 homes impacted by the mudslide that we're showing you from KCAL. LAFD was able to get people out of one of those homes. They say only 1 home was occupied when that happened. As we come back live again, you see the rain is still coming down, and we've had steady rain since Sunday in this area. Several inches of rain. So these hillsides are saturated. I mean, even look at all the runoff. I showed you this yesterday morning. It looked almost similar to this at the same time yesterday. So seeing this again and knowing that it was like this on Sunday, you know there is a lot of water in these hillsides. So they're keeping an eye on things to see if there is any more movement of the earth. But they also have to deal with this cleanup and then those home repairs. So a lot happening out here. Live in Tarzana, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
All right, Rick, thank you so much.
I heard this bam, 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 like really loud sound.
Okay, so that man is Scott Toro, and what he heard was several cars being pushed around moments after that mudslide swept through this neighborhood. This is our first look from above. You can see where the hillside just gave way, pushing the mud and boulders into swimming pools, rooms, and the roadway, damaging at least 2 homes on Lockridge Road.
There was like fencing and a refrigerator and like construction materials and a huge river of water.
In the 21 years we've lived here, we've never seen any kind of slippage like that.
And a total of 9 homes were evacuated. A Baldwin Hills homeowner was forced to evacuate after a massive mud wall just crashed into her home.
We have a look at the massive damage this mudslide caused to the home. This home is on Victoria Street. This happened early yesterday morning. I mean, just look at that. It came down with enough force to break through the home's sliding glass doors, also through the back bedroom windows. Thankfully, no one was hurt, but the homeowner of more than 20 years was forced to leave because of mold and bacteria issues.
Now I'm like a little, I have to move out. They're packing up everything now, so I'm going to have to be gone, he said, for a couple of months. Oh, no. Everything. So they're going to come pack up my house tomorrow and put it in storage. So I am super overwhelmed.
I just feel so bad for her.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's a lot to deal with. And
Yeah, and building inspectors told the homeowner it doesn't appear there's any major structural damage, so that's some good news, but it's obviously going to take some time. It's been a wintry mix in our local mountains as well, as this major storm is continuing to pass through the region.
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much looks like a winter wonderland. This is in Big Bear at the resort yesterday. They say they got 7 inches of snow and more snow is on the way. The San Bernardino County local state of emergency was there to keep crews on the clock, working to clear the roads and also to be available for mudslides, flooding, or any kind of water rescues.
Just checking on people and make sure everybody's fine. And as much as I like the outdoors, I don't want to be in this.
Hope that it's going to snow. If it storms, we'll keep our fingers crossed. And
yeah.
I mean, so far we're safe.
And over at Mount Baldy, they have a missing hiker. Crews there, they're asking for people to stay away from that area so they can focus on finding that missing person this morning.
And we will be updating you throughout the day right here on KCAL News. We also have links for resources, plus an interactive weather radar on KCALnews.com.
And we've got breaking news. Country music star Toby Keith has died at the age of 62 after a battle with stomach cancer. Now, the singer passed away last night, surrounded by family, according to a statement posted to Keith's website and social media. Keith released his debut album in 1993 and is known for a lot of songs, a lot of hits, including Red Solo Cup, I Want to Talk About Me, the list goes on. He received the Country Icon Award in 2023. And growing up, my dad listened to a lot of country western is what he would call it. And his song, Should Have Been a Cowboy, was one that I heard a lot as a kid. So definitely an icon.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of bars and restaurants, like in Vegas. So
Phenomenal.
he'll be missed for sure.
Big loss.
Big loss, yeah. All right, 5:11 on this Tuesday morning. Uncertainty at Buckingham Palace after a cancer diagnosis for Britain's King Charles III. What we know so far.
Also, the Las Vegas Strip is all lit up and ready to go for Super Bowl 58. We will take you inside the madness of opening night.
Plus, what a sight for skiers and snowboarders. We'll tell you exactly just how much snow has dumped in the Sierras.
And I want to remind you about the flooding we're seeing on the 15 in both directions, but the impact is really felt in the southbound side. This is between Ranchero and Joshua Street. 2 left lanes are closed. Southbound commute would take you 1 hour and 22 minutes to get through.
All right, we've had so much rain here in Southern California. We're expecting more rain, more mountain snow, and now isolated thunderstorms. So when will things finally start to dry out? All the details coming up.
Can you please do that on air?
Jackie.
He
I love
was
Jackie.
so excited. No, you went the Eagle Cam. It's Jackie.
I do love watching the Eagle Cam and Jackie, and she's gonna be a mama again.
I know. Sorry for yelling in your in your home right now. But welcome to KCAL News Mornings at 5 o'clock and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. The time right now is 5:15. Now, while we are drenched in rain, more than a foot of snow has fallen in the northern Sierras. That fresh powder has been a welcome sight after below average beginning of the winter season. Yeah,
at UC Berkeley's Snow Lab in Soda Springs winds, it knocked power offline at the height of the storm, but the issues, they did not interfere with insights on what all the snow means for the state so far.
We still have the rest of February and into March. And we've had late season bulks before where we've started slow and gotten a lot of snow to make up for it.
And great news for skiers and snowboarders. Palisades Tahoe, the largest resort in the Tahoe area, recorded around 18 inches of snow in just 24 hours. And keep the snow coming because we need all of that snowpack up there. And, you know, Amber, we've been talking about this all morning. We started off with a slow start, so this is good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
we're going to make up for it. So we're looking at least a foot or two of new snow, especially for our resorts, once all of this rain and moisture kind of leaves the area. But we're still not quite over with this system. This atmospheric river is still with us. You can see right here, but you can see how the satellite is showing that we are looking at that snow up over the mountains now. And then our snow levels are actually going to start to lower once we head into tonight, and then we'll continue to drop as we head into the rest of the week. All right, so here's what we're dealing with right now. We are still dealing with a lot of that rain, that heavy rain, especially over the Santa Monica Mountains, and then also over areas like Calabasas and Agoura Hills, and then now outside of our broadcast center, Studio City, still under this flood warning until about 10 a.m. So it's been extended. It was supposed to last until 5 a.m., but now you can see we're still dealing with a lot of that moderate to heavy rain in this area. So that's why that flood warning has been issued, because we still could see some flooding, and so mud and debris flow very possible. We're still dealing with that heavier rain also starting to push into Vernon and Boyle Heights, and then also City Terrace, so the downtown LA area, and then a little bit south. North Long Beach right now is looking at some stronger rain really pushing in, and then we're also looking at that moderate rain coming in into the Signal Hill area as well. Orange County, you're still dealing with all the rain as well, but not quite as strong as some of these other areas. Right near the foothills, we have been seeing that steady rainfall pretty much since yesterday, and so we will continue to see a little bit more of that. So the good news is that we're going to start to see that steady rain turn into more showers as we head into later today. So our flood threat is not quite as high as the last couple of days. In fact, it is now down into this yellow category, and that means we have that moderate flooding threat. So flood threats are still there, so flood watches will continue. Van Nuys this morning, we're looking at that rain still coming down about 50 degrees, but Van Nuys topped out with the 2-day rainfall record for yesterday and the day before that. Take a look. The last time that we saw a lot of that rain was last year, but so we are looking at more than 7 inches of rain just from 2 days alone. So obviously the numbers are going to continue to add up because we're still dealing with rain today as well, and then also for the next couple of days. Where does downtown LA stand? Well, we are looking at, this is the third largest 2-day rainfall event. So the one in 1934 and 1956 still kind of tops that, but we're at least in that top 3 range right now because we've seen so much rain. So where does that exactly put us for this month? Well, we are now, so far, we have shattered the monthly record, which normally the average monthly record for February is more than 3.5 inches. You can see we are well above that. So we're just under 9 inches so far, but the record to break will be at least more than 13 inches. So we're going to continue to see more of that rain, but again, as I mentioned, that steady rain will continue this morning, and then it starts to turn a little bit more showery as we head toward the afternoon. So we finally get some breaks here and there, and then again, snow levels dropping, and then by tomorrow night, before we start to dry out, there's another weaker system that comes down the coast. This is going to bring us more of the scattered showers Wednesday night into Thursday, and then we'll continue to see maybe some light scattered showers into the early part of Friday. But then by Friday afternoon, we finally start to dry out with more sunshine, and then we're looking at temperatures finally warming up just in time for the weekend, in time for the Super Bowl. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s on Sunday. Back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you so much. I do want to go back out to this issue that we have on the 210. This is in our next traffic camera. You can see the activity actually in the eastbound lanes. We only have the carpool lane open right now. I'm hearing about an overturned tractor trailer earlier in Cars Shot. You could see some packages out on the roadway and some debris as well. Looks like the guardrail is also damaged, so it's going to take a very long time to clear this all up. A hard closure is now in place, so you can't see how slow it is. Again, this is eastbound just past Huntington Drive where we have that crash and a SIG alert that's been issued. Now, the good news is it's so early in the morning. I'm not seeing as much volume as we typically see on a regular day, so hopefully people decided to stay home today because of the rain, but you can take the 10 East or the 60 East instead. If you plan on taking the 210 regardless, a 2-mile stretch will take you 19 minutes to get through. We do have a new crash, 605 north at Carson, carpool and right lane blocked off, and coming up, I'll take you out to the Cajon Pass on the 15.
This is KCAL News Mornings.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, a very wet Tuesday morning, February 6th. Welcome to KCAL News at 5 o'clock and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Kalina Estrinos and for Marcy Gonzalez.
Yeah, it's a wet day for sure. I'm Chris Holmstrom. Good morning, everyone. Here's some of the major headlines we're following this morning. All right, so with rain, obviously, we all know, comes slick roads. And right now, we're already seeing a share of accidents that'll impact your morning commute. We're going to take you live to Moreno Valley, where one crash is believed to be fatal.
And residents are waking up to a massive mess in communities across Southern California. We have a look at some of the damage and also the cleanup efforts underway.
And one day closer to the Super Bowl, we're counting down to kick off. Just ahead, we'll take you to Vegas to see the excitement, also the madness of opening day.
I wish we were all in Vegas right now, getting away from the rain and just having some drinks at 5 in the morning.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right?
I know, right?
They do have a lot of rain in Vegas as well. Was that our same storm that went there?
Same system, yeah,
Okay.
kind of going through.
How's it looking right now?
But everybody wants to know, will it be dry for their Super Bowl parties this weekend? So I have the answer for that coming up. But let's talk about this rain first, because we've been dealing with a steady rainfall that's we've broken records the last few days here in Southern California, and we will continue to see much more of this rain. In fact, we actually got all the rain that we usually get in just a matter of a couple days in the month of February. So here's a quick look at what's happening with this atmospheric river. It continues to sit overhead, but it kind of moved a little bit more to the south. So it is bringing a lot more of that rain over to the San Diego area. But we're still left with all this moisture, and then right behind it, we're going to see the possibility of some isolated thunderstorms and showers because we have a lot of this cold, unstable air headed our way. So get ready for that. But right now, this flash flood warning continues on until 10 a.m. and that includes areas like Agoura Hills, the Topanga Canyon area, Calabasas, also as you head toward West Hollywood, and then also right outside of our broadcast center here in Studio City, and then also a portion of downtown LA. So this is what we're dealing with this morning for the Santa Monica Mountains. We're looking at a lot more of that rain. And then Santa Monica, you could see, broke a record yesterday with the 2-day rainfall total. So the last time they saw this much rain was back in 2010. So they saw more than 6 inches just within the last 2 days. So I'll have more details on how much rain we're expecting today before the steady rain turns into some on again, off again showers. Back to you guys.
All right, Amber, thank you. I do have a big issue out there this morning. This is a crash where we have all lanes stopped right now. It's southbound 605 before the 91. You can see the backup building coming off the 105 because it's so early, and it seems like a lot of people decided to heed the warnings and stay home today because of the rain and the slick conditions. You could take the 710. You could also take the 5 southbound. Both will help you get around that closure so far on the 605. It's just a traffic break, so hopefully it gets wrapped up shortly. We still have this signal alert though. Southbound 405 at Alameda, the right lane is blocked off because of a crash there. And then this is that big issue on the 210 in Monrovia. It's on the eastbound side where we do have a really heavy backup here and only the carpool lane is open. You can see the flashing lights in the camera too. So lots of activity here. This is what it looks like in the map. For this one, you could take the 10 east. You could even take the 60 eastbound. Both will help you get around that heavy backup, and both in the eastbound direction wide open. Now this rain is just not slowing down, and the slick roads may have caused a deadly crash as well, this time in Moreno Valley.
And KCAL News reporter Elise Martinez is live at the scene with a look at what happened. I mean, hours later, this is still a crime scene or a deadly crash investigation, Elise.
Exactly. Still a very active scene out here on Kitchen Avenue and Cactus Avenue and Kitchen Street there. We're going to zoom in. Now, just moments ago, that heavy equipment pulled that black truck out of the wash there to the left and loaded it on to the tow truck. Now, this is hours after this crash happened around 11 o'clock last night. Still a very active scene there. They're going to take that car away. We just spoke briefly to someone with the Riverside County Sheriff's Office. They told us 3 cars got into a wreck last night here at the scene. 1 car ended up in that flood channel. It's hard to see, but it's to the left of the tow truck. 1 car ended up in that flood channel. We have some video of that. Rescue teams were called in to search the water. It was moving very fast because of all of this rain. We believe 2 people were inside the car that went into the wash, but we're working to get confirmation. But we just learned that 2 people were killed in this 3-car crash. We don't know how many people were involved total. We don't know if there were other injuries, but we do know at least 2 people were killed. Now, this area has been closed for hours since this investigation began. We're going to try to talk to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department again to get more information, but again, rain could have been a big factor in this crash. It has been raining steadily since we got here. The roads are very, very slick, and that tow truck is driving towards us right now, so we are going to move out of the way here. But that tow truck has one of the cars involved in this crash loaded onto the back Again, 2 people were killed in this deadly collision here in Moreno Valley. We're going to work to get you some more information, but for now, back to you.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see 7 hours later, they're still out there investigating, trying to probably figure out what exactly caused this crash. All right, Elise, thank you so much. And take a look at this. A mudslide in Beverly Crest damaged several homes on Caribou Lane. One home was pushed off its foundation, right into 2 other properties. Neighbors say the hill above them gave way around 2 yesterday morning.
It was like thunder, and then the sound of trees, I thought, snapping like twigs. And it was just this house, just completely disintegrating.
And neighbors say the mudslide also broke the gas line that crews had to repair. And just around the corner, progress in another part of Beverly Crest. Crews have removed much of that mud that came down onto North Beverly Drive. That damaged 5 homes and buried half a dozen cars.
This is the worst I've ever seen. Usually in the back here, we'll have some top layer come down and just partially cover the road a little bit, but nothing big, nothing like this.
And 10 people were displaced by this mudslide.
And roads in the Sepulveda Basin are flooded, but that didn't stop people from trying to go through. LA City Fire had to rescue someone from the roof of their car. You can see it here. This area is designed to flood during major storms, so the LA River is not overwhelmed, but people will need to wait until this massive amount of water drains before they reopen. Also, Long Beach and Orange County, they've also been dealing with flooding. Alamitos Bay Beach was just saturated, and people who live in the area say they have never seen it this flooded before. And in Orange County, the parking lot in Sunset Beach flooded too. Crews there were trying to pump out the water for hours. And in Silverado Canyon, a large tree toppled over and took down some power lines. We're told, though, no one was hurt. Also, an Amazon truck got stuck in a dirt road. This is in Montecito Heights and was dangerously close to sliding down the hill. There was concern that the truck might actually slide into the home behind it. LA City Fire Department fire crews brought out their heavy rescue equipment to help out with this issue. Thankfully, the driver was able to get out of that vehicle unharmed.
Yeah, and check this out. Union Station looked more like parts of the Colorado River.
Wow.
Passengers, they were in some pretty deep water in some spots yesterday due to the heavy rains. Metro and Amtrak provided passenger carts to carry passengers and luggage through the flooded areas, and staff members, they could be seen working to try to clear the water from the passageway. No delays were reported as a result of the flooding at the station. And Clean, I'm sure you're on the same level. A lot of friends and family have been asking, how are you guys doing with all the rain?
Oh, yeah.
Any damage? Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damage all across the area. Here are the stories we're tracking this morning. Of course, rain, and take a look at this. 3 big rigs, multiple cars, and a major storm make for a dangerous mix on the freeway. We'll show you the big mess on the morning commute.
Plus, a home teetering on the edge and several neighborhoods overrun by mud flow.
I looked out there and I saw all those boulders out on the street.
And we're keeping a close eye on the dangers and damage across SoCal. We'll also hear from our residents that were forced out of their homes. And Marcy, just a mess all across Southern California.
Yeah, it really is. But first, we want to get to the forecast. Just how much longer we'll be dealing with all of this rain. Meteorologist Amber Lee is here tracking it all for us.
Yeah, that's a big question. Everybody wants to know, when will the rain finally stop? We need the rain. We've basically broken daily records, monthly records, and the rain continues to come down. So here's a quick look, and that's because of this atmospheric river. So this is what's driving everything, and this is what's delivering all that rain into our area. So this morning, we're still waking up to more of that steady, moderate rainfall. Some areas a little bit heavier than others, especially right here over the Santa Monica Mountains, where we have this flash flood warning until about 10 a.m. So this was extended this morning, so that it's going to last with us pretty much as we head into the rest of the morning. And the reason for that is because we just continue to see a lot more of that rain coming into Agora Hills, the Calabasas area, even here in Studio City, West Hollywood. But I want to take you out just a little bit more to the east, where we're still seeing a little bit more of that rain. What you see over here with the yellows and also the oranges, that's that steady, heavy rain that continues to come down. The good news is that all that rain that we're seeing this morning, it's going to start to turn into more showers. So we're going to start to see some on-again, off-again showers, which is great news. It gives us a little bit of a break instead of just that nonstop rain that we've seen the last couple of days. So our flood threat is now down into the moderate category, so not quite as high. But I'll let you know when we can expect that rain to change over to showers coming up a little bit later. Kalina.
All right, Amber, thank you. As we head out the door, we are talking about flooding right now on the 15. This is north and southbound between Ranchero and Joshua Street. We do have 2 left lanes closed off here. Now, southbound traffic continues to build this morning. This is going to take you about an hour and 18 minutes to get through between Bear Valley and Ranchero. You might remember me talking about this yesterday because this was the same spot where we had the issues too. Same deal with this. The 71 north at Rio Rancho flooding again. The right lane is closed off here. In LA, we do have this crash 710 north at Imperial Highway. Left lane blocked off there. That's a backup from just before the 105. For this one, though, you could take the 605 north to get around it. And this is one of our biggest problems this morning. This is that SIG alert on the 210 in Monrovia. This is actually on the eastbound side. This is in our next traffic camera. You can see the activity here with all the flashing lights. And it looks like they are stopping traffic right now. This is eastbound right at Huntington Drive. So we do want to get out to Cara Finstrom live at the scene right now with more on this. And earlier, I know it was extended for 2 hours. What can you tell?
Kalina, they are stopping traffic right now, and this is why. Take a look. Quite a scene behind us. They are uprighting the last of the 3 big rigs that overturned here on the freeway early this morning, and you can see it looks almost like a crumpled cardboard box. All the contents there are still spilling out onto the freeway. So they're working on this, obviously kind of touch and go as they try and get it up as far as whether that big rig stays intact. So they have stopped all traffic for now while they get this done. Also out here, if we pan over to the wall, you can see a lot of the debris on the roadway. Actually, we're going to show you some video that was shot here earlier this morning. We've come back out here live because we're going to show you the hole as well in the freeway wall. Take a look at that. That is one of the damage, part of the damage that was created by one of those big rigs earlier this morning when it slammed into the wall. All right, let's go to that video now. One of the drivers tells us he was on his way to Fontana to deliver home goods when the rain started coming down really hard and these crashes took place. The CHP says 2 or 3 other vehicles were also involved in the series of collisions out here, so a total of 5 or 6. They got a call about the first crash here right around 2:30, and say by the time they got here, the other collisions had also taken place. Fortunately, the CHP says it appears there were only minor injuries, but at least 2 people were taken to the hospital to be checked out, and Caltrans has put a hard closure into effect. The carpool lane had been open much of the morning here. Again, everything closed right now. Here's what a sergeant out here told us about the role rain played.
The wet roadway definitely makes it more difficult to stop. Also, the visibility is something that drivers need to contend with. So driving at speeds where you can see in front of you so you're able to slow down in time or change lanes to get out of the way of any obstacles that may show up in the roadway.
All right, showing you a front loader that has been brought out here as well. And if we pan over, it is about, it looks like, to go over and start cleaning up some of these boxes that are spilled out all over the roadway. All kinds of home goods is what we're being told. So nothing hazardous, some good news there. And the other bit of good news is that it doesn't appear there were any serious injuries, but what a mess. Slow down as you're heading out to work this morning because it is continuing to rain. And unfortunately, if you do get behind something that has started, they're starting to see more of these chain collision type of things where one leads to another. Be careful.
Yeah, it's really hard to slow down, really hard to stop when the roads are this slick. Cara, thank you. And more treacherous conditions in Tarzana where homes were damaged. Residents were evacuated after a landslide swept through a neighborhood there.
Yeah, we want to go to KCAL News where Rick Montanez. He's there live, and Rick, there is a lot of cleanup ahead. Maybe that's an understatement too.
Yes, certainly, because there are multiple spots that they need to take care of. It's been raining steady here in Tarzana this morning. What we want to show you, though, look at the root base of this tree. Not a large tree, but still, this is what came down from the hillside. This all is in Boris Drive, right on top of the street. Only one lane cleared here. All of it came down from the hillside here. Yesterday morning, we showed you this live on KCAL News Mornings, and I mean, you see some of the piping that's exposed, a lot of the roots and everything, but this pales in comparison to what's just on the other side of this hill, where we show you video from SkyCal after we launched yesterday, the helicopter flying over this neighborhood, and you could see one home has its foundation exposed, and there is a lot of mud and debris that slid down onto another property nearby. So the home on the top of the hill, that is on Gable Drive. At the bottom of the hill, that is Boris Drive. Several of the homes suffered some damage. LAFD says they had one home only occupied at the time that this happened early yesterday morning before sunrise. So the good news is they were able to get everybody out. No injuries. The other two homes that were involved were unoccupied. Those two homes suffered some minor damage. As we come back live again, we could show you, I mean, check out all of the mud and everything in the road here. Yesterday morning, they were able to clear one lane here to get some access through here, but they still have to clear all of this out. And this is mud, trees, branches. We're talking also about the neighbor's fencing. There's a lot to clean up here this morning. LAFD yesterday, by the way, was talking about how many mudslides they responded to. The chief said 49 or 50 or so, but that was just what they responded to. I can tell you, based on what we've seen out here, there have been a lot more than that. Reporting live in Tarzana, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
Yeah, definitely a lot of mudslides for sure. All right, Rick, thank you so much. Well, Studio City is waking up to another morning mess. Take a look.
I heard this bam, 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 like really loud sound.
All right, so that's Scott Toro. What he heard, and we're talking about several cars being pushed around moments after the mudslide just swept through his neighborhood. This is our first look from above, and you can see where actually the hillside gave way, pushing the mud and boulders into swimming pools, living rooms, and the roadway, damaging at least 2 homes on Lockridge Road.
There was like fencing and a refrigerator and like construction materials and a huge river of water.
In the 21 years we've lived here, we've never seen any kind of slippage like that.
Yeah, when you see it from above, you get a better idea of just how bad it is. We know a total of 9 homes were evacuated.
A Baldwin Hills homeowner was also forced to evacuate after a massive wall of mud crashed into her house. Take a look at the massive damage the mudslide caused on Victoria Street early yesterday morning. Now, this came down with enough force to break through the home's sliding glass doors and back bedroom windows. What a mess. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the homeowner of more than 20 years says she was forced to leave because of mold and bacteria issues.
Now I'm like a little, I have to move out. They're packing up everything now, so I'm going to have to be gone, he said, for a couple of months. Oh, no. Everything. So they're going to come pack up my house tomorrow and put it in storage. So I am super overwhelmed.
Yeah, understandable. That is an overwhelming feeling. It's a lot to deal with. Building inspectors told the homeowner it doesn't appear there is any major structural damage, though.
An Amazon truck got stuck on a dirt road in Montecito Heights and was dangerously close to sliding down the hill. There was concern that the truck might actually slide into the home behind it. LA City Fire Department crews, they brought out their heavy rescue equipment to help out with the issue. Thankfully, that driver was able to get out of the vehicle unharmed. All right, well, while we see flooding and damage across Southern California, it's also an important reminder that there are some areas that are supposed to fill up with water. Let's go to Assembly Manager Mark Lou at the desk with how some of the flood control basins are working. Mark?
Yeah, Chris, that's right. We're talking about the Sepulveda Dam Flood Control Basin. It was built nearly 80 years ago by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers right by the 101 and the 405 freeways, and it was designed to flood. And as you can see right here, that's exactly what it did. Now, let me show you some video that we took with SkyCal right after SkyCal was finally able to launch yesterday out of Van Nuys Airport. What you're looking at here is essentially the intersection of Burbank and Woodley, and you can see that the entire area is flooded. Now, this was by design. The Sepulveda Dam Flood Control Basin was built back in 1941 by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers after a flood even earlier in 1938 had killed 144 people in Los Angeles. Now, this entire dam was built to slow the flow of water into the LA River. This area collects and controls rain water and flood water from the LA River so it does not go downstream and flood the banks of the LA River further on in Los Angeles. Now, if you come out to my screen, I'm going to show you exactly where this is on the map here. Those of you that are familiar with the San Fernando Valley, you know that the Sepulveda Dam is located right where the 101 and the 405 freeways meet. And the area that you were just looking at on video is right here. This is Woodley. This is Burbank. And what you were seeing here was this entire area that was flooded. But this is where the dam is right here. And if I zoom in a little bit further, the Army Corps of Engineers, they built it to have 8 gates, but 4 of them are always open. This was never designed to actually stop the flow of the LA River. They don't want that to happen. Just slow down the flow. And that's exactly how the flood control basin was working yesterday. Now, the LA River is still pretty high. I'm not able to show you actually the camera right now because it's very dark out. The sun hasn't come up yet. But the LA River joins the other rivers like the Santa Ana River, the Rio Hondo River in the Pacific Ocean, just as it exactly was designed to do to keep those floodwaters going into the ocean. That is the very latest here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
Yep. It's nice to have something to talk about other than the rain because I feel like that's just consuming all of us here in Southern California.
And you know what? We're going to be talking about the rain some more because it's not done. We're still in the middle of all this. The good news is that the rain is going to start to lighten up just a little bit more today. So that's the good news because we've had this nonstop rain the last 24 to 36 hours. We're going to start to see some on-again, off-again showers, which is great news. Take a look, though. We're still dealing with a steady rainfall that moves across Southern California right now because of the atmospheric river. It is just driving this event. But that atmospheric river has kind of moved off just a little bit more to the south yesterday. So it is really affecting areas like San Diego County right now. But for us here in Southern California, we're still feeling it. Right behind it, we're going to start to feel some unstable and colder air. So get ready for some isolated thunderstorms and showers as we head toward the afternoon. We still have this flash flood warning in place for the Santa Monica Mountains, and that includes the West Hollywood area and then also portions of the San Fernando Valley and then also a little bit of downtown LA. But here's a quick look at where we're starting to see a little bit more of that steady rainfall. Inglewood, Hacienda Heights, El Monte, Arcadia, and also Glendora. So a lot of our foothill communities have been really hit with a lot of this rain the last few days. So in the next 12 hours, we're still looking at that rain falling, but then you can see by the second half of the day, this is where we start to see some change, the on-again, off-again showers. So I'll have more details on how much rain we're expecting today and when that dry weather should be arriving. Kalina.
All right, Amber, thank you. As we head out the door, we are talking about the 210 closure that I've been watching for a while this morning. So as you head out the door, we do have the activity still in our next traffic camera. And also, it's still just a carpool lane that's open. Those are the cars getting by. You can see the flashing lights and all other lanes blocked off here. Again, this is in the eastbound direction. Typically, we have traffic westbound in the morning, but eastbound now you are slammed through this stretch in Monrovia. It's right at Huntington Drive. The good news, though, you can take the 10 east. You can take the 60 east. Both will help you get around that 32-minute delay. We also have this signal here. It's a crash southbound 405 at Alameda. The right lane is blocked off. It's backing you up through Carson. And then we still have flooding on the 15 in both directions, right between Ranchero and Joshua Street. Southbound traffic will take you an hour and 37 minutes. That's just for an 8-mile stretch between Bear Valley and Ranchero. Marcy, back to you.
All right, Kalina, thank you. And the wet roads may have caused a deadly crash in Moreno Valley.
Yeah, we know 2 people were killed. KCAL News reporter Elise Martinez, she's live at the scene where one of the trucks involved was just pulled out of a flood channel. Do we know exactly what caused this crash, Elise?
Good morning. No, we're still working to get that information for you. The scene is finally clear here, but the remnants of that deadly crash have been left behind. Now, 3 cars crashed last night on Cactus Avenue and Kitching Street around 11 o'clock. We don't have all the details right now, but it appears a car veered off the road here, took out this traffic light pole, then went through this fence and ended up in this flood channel. We do know 2 people were killed. Now, the water level is much lower this morning, but still you can see that water flowing. Rescue teams were called in to search the water, which was moving very fast last night for those people inside that car. We want to show you some video now. Just a short time ago, this scene was still very active when we arrived here 6 hours after this happened. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies were on the scene along with fire trucks, heavy rescue and tow trucks. A black truck was lifted out of the flood channel and put on a tow truck and taken away. We believe the victims were inside that truck. We don't know about injuries for the other 2 cars. We're working to get that information. Again, this area was closed for hours, but is now back open. We've reached out to the Riverside County Sheriff's Department to get more information. As soon as we get what happened, we will pass that information along to you. But it does appear that rain was a factor. These roads very, very wet, and it's still coming down this morning. That's all for now. Live in Moreno Valley, Elise Martinez, KCAL News.
Okay, Elise, thank you for that update. A huge tree came down blocking an entire street. Our assignment manager Mark Liu is at the desk with what repair crews are saying about this one. Mark.
Yeah, Marcy, so this was an enormous tree. It came down in Arcadia last night. Parts of it are still there this morning, and work crews, they're going to use heavy machinery to cut this one up. Take a look. That is a huge tree. Arcadia Police and Fire responded here to Mayflower Avenue just after 6 last night after people in the area reported hearing a very loud noise. Yeah, I believe it. Firefighters found this tree had fallen, taking out power lines with it. It caused a blackout in the neighborhood, closed Mayflower from Duarte Road to Camino Real Avenue. Southern California Edison technicians responded to the scene. They were able to get power on last night, but that tree was there all night and into this morning. City work crews say they're going to have to use multiple heavy tools to get this one cut up and carted away. The good news is they hope to have this one cleared sometime after sunrise, more than 12 hours after it fell. That is the very latest here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. 2 LAUSD schools will remain closed this morning. Students at Vinedale College Preparatory Academy are asked to report to Glenwood Elementary School, while kids at Topanga Elementary Charter School should go to Woodland Hills Academy. LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Carvalho says the district will continue to closely monitor conditions at all schools. Also this morning, schools are closed in Big Bear. You can see heavy snow coming down overnight, making for really dangerous driving conditions. And that is why Bear Valley Unified School District says it is shutting down schools today. There are 7 schools in the district, including 2 high schools.
All those kids excited saying snow day.
Right. Right now at 7, those wet roads causing dangerous driving conditions. A domino effect crash on the 210 is impacting the morning commute. We're going to show you how crews are taking drastic measures to clean it all up. The storm has dumped a record amount of rain now and sent mud and debris into several neighborhoods. The damage could get worse because the rain isn't over quite yet. And the music world, heartbroken this morning. We are remembering country superstar Toby Keith, who died after a battle with stomach cancer.
This is KCAL News Mornings.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, February the 6th. I can't believe this month is just cranking along.
I know.
I'm Jamie Yukas.
And I'm Marcy Gonzalez in for Rutabaga Shabazi. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on KCAL News Mornings and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. It's another rainy day. Here we go again. Meteorologist Paul Diano joins us now with a look at our next weather forecast. When's it going to stop, Paul?
Hopefully by tonight this will be done, and we have another weaker storm coming in later this week. But this morning's still pretty soggy out there. We look live at the radar. Record rainfall. We're talking like a foot of rain for some of you, and we're still dealing with rain out there. It's not as widespread. It's not as intense, but it's still there. Couple spots getting some heavier rain. Ventura County, including Camarillo. This will rotate through Thousand Oaks and Moore Park over the next 30 to 45 minutes. Another round of heavy rain along the 405 south of Santa Monica through Inglewood, south to Torrance. And we have new heavy rainfall about to move into Orange County. You're getting a bit of a break, just some light rain around Mission Viejo. We put things into a 2-hour time lapse. You can see lots of rain moving through Metro LA County, having moved through Orange County into the Inland Empire. Rain's not done yet. Can you believe this? Sometimes we talk about things being measured in feet. It's usually snow. Bel Air, 12 inches of rainfall. Topanga Canyon almost got to a foot. You may today. Woodland Hills, almost a foot of rainfall. Agora Hills, more than 8. Downtown Los Angeles, more than 7. Those totals are more rain than we average in February, March, April, and May combined. You got it in just 2 days. Here's what we're watching today. We've switched over to scattered downpour mode, which will last all day. Scattered thunderstorms are also possible today. We could see anywhere from 1/2 inch to 2 inches of new rainfall today. And many cities received 3 or 4 months of rainfall in just the past couple days. Flash flood warning, there's one remaining until 10 o'clock. It's the Malibu coastline, Santa Monica Mountains, the 101 corridor. That has been the bullseye up to that foot of rainfall. So we have more rain, scattered downpours throughout the day today. When does the sunshine come back? I do have an answer to that coming up right now. We'll look at traffic with Kalina. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. So I'm going to take you outside right now where I do have a camera that's on the 5 in Orange County. This is just before the Catella exit here, where you can see a car smashed up against a guardrail there and the tow truck on the scene as well. So this is what's happening in Orange County. We also have the flooding on PCH in both directions into and out of Sunset Beach. This incident isn't really causing a heavy backup just yet, but I did want to show you where it's at on the map this this morning. And then taking you out to LA, we do have flooding still on the southbound 5 right at the southbound 110. That transition road is closed because of it. And then we also have this slowing. This has been here since this morning. This is an incident on the 210. This is right through Monrovia, where we only have the carpool lane open. You can see all other lanes blocked off. This is what it looks like on the map this morning. Eastbound side past Huntington Drive. Again, only the carpool lane is open, but now it's causing a backup in both directions. So westbound coming off the 605. And then eastbound, just a small little stretch that's about 3 miles long is going to take you an hour and 3 minutes to get through. That is between Baldwin over to Huntington Drive, where the actual incident is at. And we do have our very own reporter, Cara Finstrom, joining us live from the scene. It is quite a backup this morning, Cara.
It is, and Caltrans now really at work trying to repair the damage to the wall. Take a look at this. They actually took that heavy equipment to the wall, made it a bigger hole than it initially was, and now they're just kind of scooping up all the debris and are going to tackle that next. Now, if we pan over, you can also see the load that was behind one of the 3 big rigs involved in this morning's collisions. Earlier this morning, you watched as they uprighted that, really unstable. So they've been working on trying to stabilize it, make sure that this doesn't fall apart as they tow it off the freeway. Once that is towed away, I am told they will reopen some additional lanes. A couple of the lanes, however, will remain closed as Caltrans continues to do its work. And you can see they're just kind of scooping this up right now. All right, let's give you a look at some video we shot earlier. A true domino effect this morning. The CHP says 2 or 3 other vehicles were also involved in a series of crashes. So we're talking a total of 5 or 6 vehicles. They got a call about the first collision here on the eastbound 210 near Huntington right around 2:30. By the time they arrived, those other crashes had also taken place. Fortunately, a CHP sergeant says there were only minor injuries, but at least 2 people were taken to the hospital to be checked out. Caltrans quickly put a hard closure into effect with only 1 lane open, the carpool lane. The sergeant out here tells us this is just one of the freeway messes they've had to respond to.
The increased number of crashes due to the weather is something that we are contending with, but we're here to help, and we're just going to continue to take one incident at a time. But we just ask that the public would also be mindful of some of these weather issues that are coming up for the first time in a while.
I want to leave you here with a look at the work underway. Again, Caltrans now tackling this freeway wall repair. No word yet as to how long some of these lanes may be closed, but again, they're going to try and get a couple more open as soon as they can. Back to you.
Okay, Cara, thank you for that update. And over in Tarzana, people are on edge after a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes there. Rick Montanez is there with the very latest. Rick.
Yeah, Marcy, there is a big mess here in Tarzana. We are standing next to one area of this mudslide, and you can see all of the debris that came down, including an entire tree. That's the root base of it. It is not a massive tree by any means, but it is still a big mess out here. And now that the sun is up, we get a better view of where everything came from. Just look up the hill there where you see a lot of that exposed piping. I mean, this is a big chunk of this hillside that came down here onto Boris Drive. Crews yesterday morning were able to clear a path here to get 1 lane open. But what is bigger than this, we'll show you now from KCAL. When we were able to launch our chopper yesterday during a little opening in the storm for the helicopter to fly, it flew over this home here that is just on Boris Drive and Gable Drive. And you see the home at the top of the hill there has its foundation exposed because so much of the ground just gave way, slid down into the 2 homes below it. So all 3 of those homes suffering some damage to different degrees. LAFD says only in 1 home were people inside. The other 2 homes were empty at the time, which is the good news. They were able to help get those people out of the house from that 1 occupied home. But really, now there's some repairs that need to be done. And then, of course, this big mess here on that one where the homes are, that is between 2 properties. But as we come back live, you can see, again, all of that earth that moved. This all came down here onto the street, so crews were here cleaning that up. So, the property owners have a lot to deal with. The work crews will have a lot to deal with here on the street as they clear the other side of the road. A lot of this is branches, pieces of fencing, and other property markers, walls that came down in all of this. So there is still a big cleanup, as we've seen all over Southern California, but especially here in this Tarzana neighborhood. I'm Rick Montanez reporting live to you.
All right, Rick, thank you so much.
Well, while we see flooding and damage across Southern California, it's also important to remember that some areas are supposed to fill up with water. Our assignment manager Mark Liu at the desk now and how some flood control basins are working. Mark?
Yeah, that's right, Jamie. We're talking about the Sepulveda Dam flood control basin. That was built nearly 80 years ago, right where the 405 and the 101 meet, and was designed specifically to flood during periods of heavy rain, and that is exactly what it's doing. Now, I want to show you some video that we shot for KCAL just after launching from Van Nuys Airport yesterday afternoon. What you're looking at right there is basically the intersection of Woodley and Burbank in the middle of the Sepulveda Dam recreation area in Sherman Oaks. Now, this whole area was built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in 1941 to catch and control floodwaters during storms. The project was built in response to a series of devastating floods in LA in the late 1930s that killed 144 people. Now, the idea here is for this flood control basin to collect rainwater and runoff from the LA River during peak storm periods like we had yesterday and hold it to prevent the LA River from overflowing its banks further downstream. Now, this area can hold billions of gallons of runoff. The term engineers use for this is called impounding the water. If you come out to my screen, I want to show you exactly where this is happening here. This is in the southern part of the San Fernando Valley, as I said, right by the 405 and the 101. And this is what the area looks like when it's dry. The video you were just looking at is basically, it's basically right here. That's Woodley and Burbank, and the dam is right here. Now, I want to speak specifically about the dam. If you zoom in here, this dam, the Army Corps of Engineers built it to have 8 gates, but 4 of them are open all the time. The LA River was never designed to shut off the flow of the LA River completely, so it just slows the flow downstream. And speaking of the LA River, I want to take you out to our LA River cam. This is just outside our KCAL studio. We're about 5 miles downstream from the Sepulveda Dam. All of that water is flowing into the Pacific Ocean, just like the other rivers in Southern California, like the San Gabriel River, the Rio Hondo, and the Santa Ana rivers. That is the very latest here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thanks so much. And we are on Baby Eagle Watch, a live look now at Big Bear, where there is a lot of snow, but that is not keeping Jackie from just chilling out there on the nest, incubating her 3 eggs.
How sweet is that picture? And beautiful with the new snowfall.
Yeah, truly. I checked it last night before bed, and there was some snow. There is significantly more today, but she has not moved.
Well, and Paul, we usually talk about snow in terms of, half a foot, but that's what our rain totals are looking like in some places.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, usually rain measured in inches, snow sometimes measured in feet. Well, we've got rain in feet. I'll show you some more rainfall totals. And in our next half hour, I am compiling snowfall totals right now, including at Big Bear. The 110 is a mess right now. Inglewood through Vernon, north on the 5 to Glendale and Pasadena. This is another batch of heavier rainfall moving through. Pockets of heavy rain. It's certainly not as widespread as yesterday, but it's still there around Buena Park and Cypress, north and east to La Habra. And we have one thicker pocket of heavy rainfall over Camarillo. It's migrating to the east, so Thousand Oaks, Newbury Park, and Moore Park. You're going to get poured on right when you're dropping off the kids at school. This is a 2-hour time lapse here. Want to highlight a lot of the San Gabriels and San Bernardinos right now, including Big Bear and Mountain High, getting a lot of snowfall, and the snow level will drop today all the way down to 4,000 feet. LA is now at 7.5 inches of rainfall from this storm, a 3-day total. The average rain for February, March, April, and May, 4 months combined, is less than what we've received over the past 3 days. Other rainfall totals: Agora Hills, nearly 9 inches of rain. Van Nuys, 8. There's the downtown total. Long Beach, half a foot of rainfall. You got half a foot of rain last week, too. Ontario, nearly 5 inches of rainfall, in Santa Ana, one of the lower totals at 2.5 inches of rain. It is 54 degrees in downtown Los Angeles, where it is currently raining, 50 in Riverside, 53 in Fullerton, 50 in Burbank, and 51 in Malibu. I haven't talked much about temperatures because obviously the rain has been the big story today. Temperatures will be right around 60 for an afternoon high. Orange County. You do see a decrease in shower coverage from 70% to 30% by mid-morning. So I think the wettest part of the day is what we have right now. and then we'll go into scattered downpour mode, where you're still going to get some rain, just not as widespread, coming up later today. So rain and downpours that we have outside right now will become more scattered, less numerous later today. That said, there is an isolated thunderstorm chance as the actual boundary moves through Southern California today. The snow level is dropping. It's going to bottom out at 4,000 feet. Heavy mountain snowfall continues. And even when the rain stops, which will happen tomorrow night, landslide risk usually sticks around for maybe even a week or 2 weeks after that. So we will still be hearing about landslides well after the storm is gone. That's how much rain has fallen. You can see things a whole lot more disorganized compared to where we were 24 hours ago, but you also still continue to see some rainfall rotating through. Here's a look at what we think the radar will look like at 8 o'clock. Pretty active, less active, but still some rain out there at 2 o'clock. This is now 8 o'clock at night. Still some pockets of heavy rainfall moving through. A lot more scattered tomorrow. Tomorrow you'll have more dry periods than wet periods, but watch this. There's one more wave of low pressure moving through, which will give us some downpours Wednesday evening and Wednesday night, perhaps as late as Thursday morning. When is it going to end? Thankfully, when it does, later this week, we go into a dry mode. We will likely be drier than average, completely dry this weekend into next week. Got to get through today and some scattered showers tomorrow night. 58 degrees today, 60 tomorrow and Thursday. Sunshine is back, a whole lot of it Friday, and right now the weekend does look completely dry, sunny with highs in the mid-60s for your Super Bowl party. Let's see if the traffic is super. Probably not. Here's Kelly.
It's not super at all, but it's okay. We're going to try to make the most of today. Luckily, I'm not seeing as many cars on the roadway compared to yesterday, so it seems like everyone said enough is enough. I'm not going to drive in the rain. For those of you who are about to hit the road, I have a couple spots to tell you about this morning. So let's get out to our map so you can see what I'm talking about. We do have flooding on the southbound 5 to the southbound 110. That transition road is closed, so you can't hop on the southbound 110 from the 5 south there. You can continue, though, your drive and then possibly take the 10 or the 101. This is our other issue this morning. It's that ongoing signaler. We've been talking about this since before 4 o'clock this morning. It's on the 210 eastbound through Monrovia. It's just past Huntington Drive. Only the carpool lane is open. It's a tractor trailer that flipped over. A bunch of boxes are all over the place, too. So eastbound traffic building to about 46 minutes between Baldwin Avenue to Huntington. And then we also have a pothole reported on the westbound 210 before Rosemead Boulevard. The right lane is blocked off, and that is backing you up now from before the 605. We also had an issue before the 605 that not cleared. And then I do want to let you know about a rock slide. This is out on Surface Street, Escondido Canyon Road, just west of the 14, so that could impact your commute as you try to head through that stretch.
This is KCAL News Mornings.
We hope you're having a great morning. It's Tuesday, February 6th. Thanks for waking up with us here at KCAL News Mornings and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Jamie Yuka.
And I'm Marcy Gonzalez in for Rutabaga Shabazi. We also have Paul and Kalina here with us this morning. And here's what we have for you this hour. The music world is mourning the loss of Toby Keith. A look back at his star-studded career.
Another wet morning on the roads causing headaches. What you need to know before heading out that door.
And when will this rain really slow down? The snow as well. Let's get right to our next weather with Paul.
It's not an on-off switch, unfortunately, because I'd love to just say, okay, off.
Yeah, we're done. You don't have that power.
I know, right?
Work on that, would you?
I'm searching for it. When I find it, we're on to something. I promise I'll turn it off. We're kind of ramping down right now, but that's not helping folks out. There's still some more rain out there. So let's get over to the radar, where compared to yesterday, we're better. The ramping down process means maybe half of you have rain now, as opposed to yesterday, all of us have rain. But where it's going to rain today, it's going to pour. So we head to Orange County, where a flash flood warning has just been issued for what has fallen this morning, but also what's to come. This heavy rainfall sitting just offshore is about to rotate through. That may drop another inch of rain over the next hour or two in Orange County, so please watch out for that. And this heavy rainfall has been very slowly lifting off the Malibu coastline into the 101 corridor. It is now also at the 23 corridor, so from Moore Park south through Thousand Oaks, Newbury Park, almost back to Calabasas. Plan on very heavy rainfall if you are heading out the door right now. Look at these rainfall totals. This isn't for the month. This isn't for the water year. This is since Sunday morning. The past 48 hours, we've seen nearly a foot of rainfall in Woodland Hills and Topanga Canyon. We've gotten there at Bel Air. Agora Hills, more than 8 inches of rainfall, and downtown Los Angeles, more than 7 inches of rain. That is a tremendous amount of water in a short amount of time. 2 flash flood warnings now, one just issued. This is the one we've had for a while. The Malibu coastline, ongoing flooding east to downtown Los Angeles. And we also have one now for northern Orange County, including Anaheim. That does not expire until 11:30. So it's raining in Burbank. It's 50 degrees. It's not raining everywhere. It's not going to be an all-day washout, but we will have on and off rain with a tiny chance of a thunderstorm throughout the day today. And today is going to be colder. Highs will only be in the mid to upper 50s. So when does the rain actually, if we had an off switch, when will it be completely off? We'll talk about that coming up. Right now, it's a mess on the roads. Here's Kalina with an update. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. So I have a couple signal alerts out there this morning, including this spot here where I had reports earlier of a pothole, and then I had reports that about 10 vehicles are pulled over with flat tires because of this pothole. So right now, crews have the right lane blocked off. It's westbound 210 before Rosemead. Again, a signal alert has been issued for that far right lane. Hopefully it wraps up soon, but they're trying to do the repair work here. So westbound 210 from Myrtle over to Fair Oaks will take you about 27 minutes to get through. We also still have this issue. Cara Finstrom will have more coming up in just a second, but eastbound side of the 210 right at the Huntington Drive exit, only the carpool lane is open. And you can see that back up here too. It'll take you an hour to go through just a 4-mile stretch between Rosemead to Huntington. So if you're planning on leaving at 8:15, you might want to just grab your stuff, get out the door. 8:30, you still got to give yourself that extra time because it definitely is slowing you down. Good news though, you can take the 10 eastbound or the 60 eastbound to get around the problem we're seeing on the 210 there. We also have flooding reported in several spots, including here on the 5. I'll have more on this coming up. Ladies, back to you.
Kalina, thank you. We want to get to breaking news this morning. A U.S. appeals court says that former President Trump is not immune from prosecution. This has been part of his defense as he faces charges of plotting to overturn the 2020 election. The 3-judge panel with the D.C. Appeals Circuit said that the former president is now a citizen and, quote, any executive immunity that may have protected him while he served as president no longer protects him against this prosecution. Mr. Trump posted last night on his Truth Social page that, quote, if immunity is not granted to a president, every president that leaves office will be immediately indicted by the opposing party. Without complete immunity, a president of the United States would not be able to properly function. He's expected to appeal the ruling. By the way, that appeal needs to get in by next week.
Well, getting through the San Gabriel Valley has been such a headache this morning following a crash involving several big rigs. Their payload spilled across the eastbound 210 freeway in Monrovia. A wall was also smashed there. KCAL News reporter Cara Finstrom shows us the damage and the backup.
Caltrans crews have been out here examining this freeway wall that was damaged and trying to figure out the best way to repair it. One of the 3 big rigs involved in this morning's series of collisions slammed into that. And take a look. A little earlier, they actually had to punch an even bigger hole into this wall before they could really tackle and begin to fix it. A true domino effect out here this morning. The CHP says 2 or 3 other vehicles were also involved in a series of crashes. So we're talking a total of 5 or 6 vehicles. They got a call about the first collision here on the eastbound 210 near Huntington right around 2:30. And say by the time they arrived, the other crashes had also taken place. Fortunately, a sergeant tells us there were only minor injuries, but at least 2 people were taken to the hospital to be checked out. Caltrans quickly put a hard closure into effect with only the carpool lane open. And that sergeant tells us this is just one of the freeway messes they've had to respond to.
The increased number of crashes due to the weather is something that we are contending with, but we're here to help, and we're just going to continue to take one incident at a time. But we just ask that the public would also be mindful of some of these weather issues that are coming up for the first time in a while.
And making the matters worse for all those morning commuters this morning, that sergeant tells us all the rain has also slowed down their responses. Cara Finstrom, KCAL News.
Cara, thank you. In Tarzana, people are on edge after a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes in one neighborhood. And there's growing concern with more rain ahead. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez shows us the damage.
This neighborhood has a lot to clean up, several mudslides, in fact, and some of them smaller than others. But here you could see, look at all of this that came down. These are big portions of a tree. We've seen entire trees also, and large parts of people's fencing or backyard walls that came down. But what we want to show you is up at the top of the hill. Look at how much earth came crashing down yesterday in this mudslide. This was after all of those heavy downpours on Sunday and then overnight into Monday when this finally happened. Let's show you video from KCAL, because when we were able to launch on Monday afternoon and finally see some of the views from the air, we could see one home has significant damage. It appears the foundation is exposed of that home. All of the earth right there slid down onto 2 properties below and damaged 2 other homes. And so 3 homes in total. LAFD says only one of them was occupied at the time that this happened, which is the good news that no one was injured. The firefighters were able to get people out, but a big mess that they have to clean up here this morning and probably in the days to come. As we come back to show you our camera view from the street here, this is Boris Drive, and all of this has to be cleaned up. Big mess all over Southern California that we've seen, but particularly here in this Tarzana neighborhood. I'm Rick Montanez. Back to you.
And while we see flooding and damage across SoCal, it's also important to remember that some areas are supposed to fill up with water. Our assignment manager, Mark Liu, is at the desk with a look at how some flood control basins are working. Mark.
Yeah, Marcy, I want to talk about the Sepulveda Dam flood control basin. It was built nearly 80 years ago, right where the 405 and the 101 meet, and it was designed specifically to flood during periods of heavy rain, and that's exactly what it's doing. Now, this is video that we shot with KCAL just after launching from Van Nuys Airport yesterday afternoon. What you're looking at here is basically the intersection of Woodley and Burbank in the middle of the Sepulveda Dam recreation area in Sherman Oaks. Now, this whole area was built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in 1941 to catch and control floodwaters during storms. This project was built in response to a series of devastating floods in Los Angeles in the late 1930s that killed 144 people. Now, the idea here is for this flood control basin to purposely collect rainwater and runoff from the LA River during peak storm periods and hold it to prevent the LA River from overflowing its banks further downstream. Now, this area can hold billions of gallons of runoff. The term engineers use for this is impounding the water. Now, if I want to take you out to live pictures of our LA River cam. Well, this is actually a map of where the Sepulveda Dam is, and I'll show you right here on the map where this took place. This is the flooded area. This is Woodley, Burbank. There's the dam right there. The LA River flows through there. Now, all of that water will end up in the Pacific Ocean, just like the other rivers in Southern California, like the San Gabriel River, the Rio Honda, and the Santa Ana River. This is the LA River right outside our studio here in Studio City, about 5 miles downstream from the dam. That is the very latest here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. A Baldwin Hills homeowner was forced to evacuate after a massive wall of mud crashed into her home. Take a look at the massive damage the mudslide caused to this home on Victoria Street yesterday morning. Came down with enough force to break through the home's sliding glass doors and back bedroom windows. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the homeowner of more than 20 years was forced to leave because of mold and bacteria issues.
An Amazon truck got stuck on a dirt road in Montecito Heights and was dangerously close to sliding down that hill there. There was concern the truck might actually slide into the home behind it. LA City Fire Department crews brought out the heavy rescue equipment to help, and thankfully the driver was able to get out of the vehicle unharmed. And we will be updating you throughout the day here on KCAL News on everything related to this storm. We also have links for resources plus an interactive weather radar on KCALnews.com.
So all the rain that we thought that Orange County and the Inland Empire was going to see yesterday, well, it looks like today's the day. Here's a quick look. So we're looking at that steady, heavy rain starting to really push in again because of this atmospheric river, which is delivering all of that moisture to us. And we've been breaking records left and right for the last couple of days. Now you can see that we do have a flash flood warning, not just for Orange County, which we saw a couple hours ago, but now they've added a bigger swath of this area to this flash flood warning. And that's going to last until about 12:30. Especially for some parts of northern Orange County. And then you can see where we're seeing some other areas, including Anaheim, all the way down to Laguna Niguel, where we're looking at much more of the flooding and also the heavier rain coming in. So some of these areas we could see rain rates about ½ an inch to an inch, and that's what's causing some flooding. And you'll notice that we do have a lot more of the yellows and the oranges here. I will break it all down for you and let you know how much rain we're seeing so far and when we're actually going to start to see the rain lighten up. Back to you.
All right, Amber, thanks so much. Let's get to our #1 story, the damage from this relentless rain. Trees are falling all over SoCal, and 2 of them took down some power poles this morning in Brentwood. That's where KCAL News reporter Cara Fenstrom is live with a look. Cara, people are stuck?
Yeah, some people essentially trapped in their homes. At least they can't get their cars out, and others without power here. And this is why. Take a look right behind me. You can see that is possibly 2 eucalyptus trees, we believe, that came crashing down early this morning. You can see those thick power lines right in the middle of them. We have some video as well that was shot from up above from KCAL. I just spoke with someone here with LADWP who tells me at least 6 poles came down, possibly more. He says when the first one came down, there was a domino effect of sorts with the others falling too. He also says someone from the nearby Whole Foods just came up to let them know they're without power. LADWP reports more than 2,000 customers in this area are without electricity right now, and many of those outages likely due to this. The tree or trees came down here near the intersection of Saltaire and Bundy, and on top of the outage, as we mentioned, that has cut off access to Sunset for homes further up the hillside. Here's what one of those homeowners told us.
This is the biggest tree I've seen down ever, and I've lived in the canyon about 20 years. I live a few blocks up. We're facing being blocked in the canyon for probably the rest of the day, maybe half the day tomorrow.
You can't drive down from where you are?
No. You can walk, but you can't get your car out.
Contingent of power crews that were just here really trying to assess the situation. At this point, no real estimate as to when power may be restored to those customers or to when folks will be able to drive their cars up and down this street. But the good news in all of this is that, again, nobody was hurt. So at this point, it's kind of waiting it out while they figure out what to do about this huge tree or trees and all of those power poles that are down. Back to you, Amy.
All right, Cara, thanks so much. In Tarzana, a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes, and one is literally teetering on the edge. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is there live to show us the damage. Rick.
Amy, good morning. Finally getting a break from the rain. We have not seen a raindrop fall in the last 30 minutes or so here, but there is still a big mess out here. You see everything that came down. I mean, look at how much earth moved from this hillside, a steep hillside here, and all of that came down during the heavy downpours from this storm, and then all the way across the street here. We're talking entire trees, branches, fences, a lot of earth moved. We have some new video to show you just around the corner from where we are, that other landslide that damaged those homes. One of the homes is red tagged now. The other home at the top of the property, which is on the next street over, that home is the one that is teetering. You see from KCAL video that we have for you as well, where we can see the earth just gave way and came tumbling down to the homes below it, exposing the foundation of that home at the top of the road there. And so these other homes at the bottom, that one is the blue house is the one that is red tagged. The other one may have some property damage as well, but really just a big mess out here that these homeowners will have to deal with, fixing their homes, their properties. There was a power pole that came down as well, so LADWP will have to clear that out. As we come back live, you could see again all of the piping and all these other things exposed from this landslide, this mudslide, all of that came down yesterday morning. So they will have to clean it up. The road will still have to be cleaned up by the city, and then DWP crews have to take care of that power pole. Homeowners have to hire someone and figure out the insurance and all of that. So just a lot of work for people to do. And they also have to deal with the fact that landslides could still happen even after this storm passes. Reporting live in Tarzana this morning, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
All right, Rick, thank you. Well, several vehicles, including 3 big rigs, were involved in crashes along the eastbound 210 freeway in Monrovia. This all started around 2:30 this morning, just east of Huntington Avenue. When law enforcement arrived, they found vehicles piled up and the sound wall smashed. 2 people were taken to the hospital in unknown condition. The CHP is delivering another message to drivers.
The increased number of crashes due to the weather is something that we are contending with, but we're here to help, and we're just going to continue to take one incident at a time. But we just ask that the public would also be mindful of some of these weather issues that are coming up for the first time in a while.
Now, in order to make sure that this area is safe, Caltrans crews had to actually bust down a section of that sound wall. LA city leaders have just wrapped up a news conference detailing their efforts to keep Angelenos safe during the storm. Assignment manager Mark Liu live at the desk with what Mayor Karen Bass is saying. Mark.
Yeah, that's right, Amy. The mayor and her team at the city's Emergency Operations Center want to remind everyone this storm is still not over. There is rain in the forecast and there is dangers that exist on wet hillsides and flooded streets. Take a listen to what she had to say.
But I again want to tell Angelenos to remain safe and off the roads. Please stay informed. Please register for Notify LA. The city will be working around the clock to serve, and we will keep you informed as this storm continues.
Now, after the mayor spoke, the chief of the Los Angeles Fire Department came to the podium and detailed the enormous number of calls that firefighters have responded to over the last 2.5 days, like this one. They say they have dealt with 307 mudslides alone in the city of Los Angeles, some large like in Studio City and Tarzana, but most are small. 35 buildings had to have safety inspections due to that kind of mud damage. And of them, 5 were red tagged, rendering them uninhabitable, and 7 were yellow tagged. Now, the evacuation order on the western end of the Latuna Canyon area remains in effect. That's beneath the land fire burn scar. Swiftwater rescue teams had to rescue 1 man from the LA River yesterday. And on top of all of this, city services have responded to 257 fallen trees and 159 new potholes on city streets. And they say they've cleared out over 800 catch basins and stormwater drains to help alleviate all of that street flooding. That is the very latest here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Welcome everyone to KCAL News at 11 on CBS Los Angeles and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I am Chris Holmstrom. All right, we're going to begin with some breaking news this morning. The Santa Monica Pier evacuated, apparently because of a bomb threat. Let's go straight to Assignment Manager Mark Liu at the desk with the latest information from police. Mark, what do we know?
Yeah, Chris, I'll tell you, this information just coming in from the Santa Monica Police Department. They put out a tweet on X just a short time ago saying that the Santa Monica Pier had been evacuated due to an emailed bomb threat. Now, let me take you to live pictures from our Santa Monica cam. You can see it is a rainy, cold day out on the pier, but it is absolutely empty because just about an hour ago, Santa Monica PD closed the entire pier and evacuated everybody at the pier out of an abundance of caution. They say they received an emailed bomb threat of some kind to the Santa Monica Police Department regarding the pier. So out of an abundance of caution, they are taking it seriously, and they are now conducting a full security sweep of the entire pier to make sure that there are no threats on the pier, no explosive devices or anything else like that. Now, they haven't reported finding anything yet. There are no injuries here, but you can see the pier completely closed on this rainy Tuesday when there should normally be people all over that pier at this time of day. Now, we did see some police officers there and some crews walking around, but it looks like they have gone behind some buildings. But as you can see, the pier completely empty due to this emailed bomb threat at the Santa Monica Pier this afternoon. We'll let you know if they find anything or if and when the pier is going to be reopened today. That is the very latest here from the desk. Chris, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you so much. And the major storm that's been with us for more than 48 hours now still is not done. It is bringing more rain and soggy conditions and raising concerns about more mudslides and making for dangerous conditions on the roads. We do have team coverage on the storm this morning. Let's begin with meteorologist Paul Diano with the latest next weather storm tracker. Paul, we've had so much rain so far. Are we out of the woods yet?
We are not out of the woods. We are heading in the right direction to leave the woods. Rain is getting a little bit more scattered, a little bit less intense, but it's still coming down. It's the Inland Empire in Orange County right now. Rancho Cucamonga, Pomona, east on the 10 to San Bernardino. It is another day of steady soaking rains, and you can see the blue. You just go up to 4,000 feet in elevation, and it is snowing, not raining. Southern Orange County, you've been the bullseye for several hours now. You're under a flash flood warning. More on that in a second. But Mission Viejo's had heavy rain since about 8:30. A couple inches of rainfall there. And there's a live look at the radar where we are seeing the rain lifting from south to north. I apologize for those couple missing images there, but we are still continuing to see some areas with steady soaking rain. It is now all of Orange County and extreme eastern LA County that is under a flash flood warning until 1 o'clock. If anything, this may be the wettest day for you in Orange County with an additional 1 to 2 inches of rainfall possible. Look at these totals. These aren't snow totals. These are rain totals. A foot of rain or somewhere thereabouts, Woodland Hills, Topanga Canyon, Bel Air, more than 8 inches of rain for Agoura Hills, and downtown Los Angeles now more than 8 inches, making this the third wettest 3-day rainfall event in LA history and the wettest since 1938. That is a long time ago. We'll talk about how long these showers and downpours stick around. That's coming up in a few minutes.
Wow, those rainfall records, so much rain. Well, people in a Brentwood neighborhood are without power after 2 trees took down at least 6 power poles. And this mess right here, there's a lot of it. It's blocking people from getting in and out of their neighborhood. KCAL News reporter Cara Finstrom shows us.
It actually looks like 2 giant eucalyptus trees came crashing down in this neighborhood early this morning. You can see one of them right behind us here, and those very thick power lines that are running right in between the branches. I did speak with someone here with LADWP. He tells me at least 6 poles came down, possibly more. He says when the first one came down, there was a domino effect of sorts with the others then falling too. Let's give you a look from above. This was shot from KCAL. That same person with LADWP says someone from the nearby Whole Foods came up to let them know they are without power. LADWP reports more than 2,000 customers in the Brentwood area here don't have electricity right now, and many of those outages are likely due to this. The tree or trees came down here near the intersection of Saltaire and Bundy, and on top of the outages, it has cut off access to Sunset for homes that are further up this hillside. Here's what we learned from one of those homeowners.
This is the biggest tree I've seen down ever, and I've lived in the canyon about 20 years. I live a few blocks up. We're facing being blocked in the canyon for probably the rest of the day, maybe half the day tomorrow.
You can't drive down from where you are?
No. You can walk, but you can't get your car out.
It's not clear exactly how long it will take to clean this all up and to restore all that power, but crews are at work, and the really good news in all of this, nobody was hurt. Cara Finstrom, KCAL News.
In Tarzana, a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes, one literally teetering on the edge. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is there to show us the damage in Tarzana.
There is a lot to clean up here in Tarzana. You see behind me this mangled fence among all the branches that came down when this mudslide happened. This was on Sunday night into Monday, so around 2 a.m. Monday. And look at the hillside. I mean, so much of the earth moved, came sliding down here, and then right across the street. Crews actually were out here from the LAFD in a bulldozer, and they cleared this path on Boris Street here, but so much came down, entire trees even. They're not that big, but it is a lot of earth that has moved here. Let's show you some video from around the corner on Boris Drive. There is a home now that is red tagged because another landslide happened. That one came from above and went right into that property. It took out a power pole as well as several trees, and the home above it, where the ground gave way, it exposed the foundation of that home. We also flew KCAL over that neighborhood when we were able to launch because of a break in the storm, and you could see just how much earth had moved. So 3 homes involved there, one of them at least red tagged, the other may be yellow tagged or red tagged, we're not quite sure yet, but there is just a lot to clean up here. Homeowners are going to have to figure out how to deal with all of the damages they have, and then of course LADWP crews have to come in, take care of that power pole. Just a lot of them, a lot of work for them to have to take care of. And the concern for more landslides, mudslides, debris flow still stays with us even days after this storm passes. In Tarzana, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
And LA Mayor Karen Bass gave an update on the city's response to the storm and also warned Angelenos to remain vigilant even as the rain eases up.
Angelenos should know that even though the rain may ease up a bit today, this storm continues, and that means we still need Angelenos to take precautions and to stay informed during this time.
And she revealed 54,000 homes have had their power restored, with another 7,000 to go. LA Fire Chief Kristen Crowley says her department has responded to more than 300 mudslides, red tagged 5 homes, and yellow tagged 7 others as a result. And emergency crews are still on a heightened alert. And our Storm Watch Next Weather team coverage continues. We'll have the latest on KCAL News and KCALnews.com. You can also check out our interactive radars and follow our 7-day next weather forecast, or just download the app.
This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
Now at noon, the powerful storm parked over Southern California continues to cause chaos in communities and, yes, on our roads. Hello and welcome to KCAL News at noon and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Amy Johnson. We're talking about downed trees, dangerous freeways, and streets completely underwater. This atmospheric river still soaking parts of SoCal and leaving a large impact behind. The rain isn't done just yet. Here's a look at our next weather radar. You see the system there in green. Now, we do have storm team coverage on the ground and in the studio. We want to begin with meteorologist Paul Diano, not only tracking the system's next move, but also our rain totals so far. Paul.
Rain totals are getting kind of crazy. They look like snow totals when you see them, but that's how much rain has fallen. Storm is beginning to move out. Not gone yet. This time tomorrow we'll be 99% finished with the storm, but right now we are anything but. Southeastern Orange County, portions of the Inland Empire, including Temecula, Lake Elsinore, and then Dana Point north to Mission Viejo. You have seen pouring rain now for about 3.5 straight hours. South into San Diego County and then north along the coastline all the way to Huntington Beach. Light to moderate rain continues. Look at all of that heavy rain in the Inland Empire. You may get an additional inch of rainfall this afternoon on top of the ½ foot of rain you've had over the past couple days. Mountain snowfall continues as well. The rain is a bit more scattered in LA County, but you can see what's heading your way. It's going to be a very wet lunch hour and some heavier showers and downpours re-entering Ventura County. Here we go again. Flash flood warning continues until 1 o'clock. Central and southern Orange County, northern San Diego County. Flooding has been ongoing this morning. It continues. Now to those rainfall totals. I'll start at the bottom. Can you believe the bottom of the list is 8 inches of rain? Well, that's downtown Los Angeles. Agoura Hills, nearly 9. Woodland Hills, almost a foot. Topanga Canyon, almost a foot. And there's a weather recording station in the hills above Bel Air, a little bit higher in elevation than most houses. 15.5 inches of rainfall since Sunday. And right now, Los Angeles is sitting at its third wettest 3-day rainfall ever, with more than 8 inches of rain since Sunday. This is kind of crazy, some of these rainfall totals. We'll talk about when this does move out, what happens after that. Amy, coming up.
All right, Paul, thanks so much. We are following breaking news. A mudslide has caused 3 homes to be evacuated in Hacienda Heights. Assignment manager Mark Liu live at the desk with the SkyCal video and all the details, Mark.
Yeah, Amy, so a huge amount of mud came into the backyard of one home all the way up to the back wall of the home, and it's affecting 2 other homes as well. All 3 are evacuated. Now, SkyCal is overhead. We're going to try and get you the best picture possible here, but there is a weather system moving in. You can see down there here, this home on Gotera Drive, right near Garona Drive. This is on the southern hillside of Hacienda Heights. Look at all of that mud that has come down into the backyard of this home here in Hacienda Heights, and it looks like it has caved in the back wall as well. You can see some of the contents of that room right there are sticking out through that hole, but all of those city workers and firefighters from Hacienda Heights now are helping this family by digging out all of that mud. Now, there's 2 other homes on either side. The one to the left there, they also have mud in the backyard, but it looks like they're elevated, so there really wasn't any damage to the house, but there could be some mud in the backyard and underneath that balcony. The home to the right looks like they escaped most of the worst of it, but that home in the center, wow, I'll tell you, it looks like there is a ton of mud. This is the home. It looks like there's just a lot of rain and water there. But that home in the middle there, definitely taking a lot of damage from that mud. We don't have any information about any injuries here, but there is a lot of work to be done in the back of this home as the mud is back there. Now, I want to tell you about another breaking story that we're following here at the assignment desk. This is a live look at the Santa Monica Pier, which has been closed for the better part of 2.5 hours because of a bomb threat that was emailed in. The Santa Monica PD say they received that bomb threat, and out of an abundance of caution, they have evacuated the entire Santa Monica Pier this afternoon, and they are doing a security sweep from one end to the other. Now, a little bit earlier, we did see police officers and other crews working on the Santa Monica Pier, but no other human beings this morning and this afternoon have been on the pier because of this full evacuation due to this bomb threat. Now, nothing has been found so far. It was just an emailed threat. Santa Monica PD says they are going to tell us if and when they find anything there and when this temporary evacuation of the Santa Monica Pier will be lifted when the scene is all clear. I'll keep monitoring, Amy, let you know if anything changes. Until then, that's it here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Well, power is cut off in a Brentwood neighborhood after 2 trees fell, taking down several power poles with them. And the mess is making it impossible for people to drive in and out of the area. KCAL News reporter Cara Fenstrom continues our storm watch coverage.
It actually looks like two giant eucalyptus trees came crashing down in this neighborhood early this morning. You can see one of them right behind us here, and those very thick power lines that are running right in between the branches. I did speak with someone here with LADWP. He tells me at least 6 poles came down, possibly more. He says when the first one came down, there was a domino effect of sorts with the others then falling too. Let's give you a look from above. This was shot from KCAL. That same person with LADWP says someone from the nearby Whole Foods came up to let them know they are without power. LADWP reports more than 2,000 customers in the Brentwood area here don't have electricity right now, and many of those outages are likely due to this. The tree or trees came down here near the intersection of Saltaire and Bundy, and on top of the outages, it has cut off access to Sunset for homes that are further up this hillside. Here's what we learned from one of those homeowners.
This is the biggest tree I've seen down ever, and I've lived in the canyon about 20 years. I live a few blocks up. We're facing being blocked in the canyon for probably the rest of the day, maybe half the day tomorrow.
You can't drive down from where you are.
No, you can walk, but you can't get your car out.
It's not clear exactly how long it will take to clean this all up and to restore all that power, but crews are at work, and the really good news in all of this, nobody was hurt. Cara Finstrom, KCAL News.
That is the best news, Cara. Thank you. In Tarzana, a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes, and one is actually teetering on the edge. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is there to show us the damage.
There is a lot to clean up here in Tarzana. You see behind me this mangled fence among all the branches that came down when this mudslide happened. This was on Sunday night into Monday, so around 2 a.m. Monday, and look at the hillside. I mean, so much of the earth moved, came sliding down here, and then right across the street. Crews actually were out here from the LAFD in a bulldozer, and they cleared this path on Boris Street here, but so much came down, entire trees even. They're not that big, but it is a lot of earth that has moved here. Let's show you some video from around the corner on Boris Drive. There is a home now that is red tagged because another landslide happened. That one came from above and went right into that property. It took out a power pole as well as several trees, and the home above it, where the ground gave way, it exposed the foundation of that home. We also flew KCAL over that neighborhood when we were able to launch because of a break in the storm, and you could see just how much earth had moved. So 3 homes involved there, one of them at least red tagged, the other may be yellow tagged or red tagged, we're not quite sure yet, but there is just a lot to clean up here. Homeowners are going to have to figure out how to deal with all of the damages they have, and then of course LADWP crews have to come in, take care of that power pole. Just a lot of them, a lot of work for them to have to take care of. And the concern for more landslides, mudslides, debris flow still stays with us even days after this storm passes. In Tarzana, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
All right, Rick, and our storm coverage doesn't end here. We'll be updating you on the rain throughout this newscast, and at 12:30 we head out to the Inland Empire, where there's been some flooding and storm damage there as well. Well, several vehicles, including 3 big rigs, were involved in crashes along the eastbound 210 freeway in Monrovia. This all started around 2:30 this morning, just east of Huntington Avenue. When law enforcement arrived, they found vehicles piled up and the sound wall smashed. 2 people were taken to the hospital, but the CHP tells us it appears they weren't badly hurt.
This is KCAL News, Los Angeles.
The powerful storm parked over Southern California continues to cause chaos in communities and, yes, on our roads. Hello and welcome to KCAL News, streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. I'm Amy Johnson. We're talking about downed trees, dangerous freeways, and streets completely underwater. This atmospheric river still soaking parts of SoCal and leaving a large impact behind. The rain isn't done just yet. Here's a look at our next weather radar. You see the system there in green. Now, we do have storm team coverage on the ground and in the studio. We want to begin with meteorologist Paul Diano, not only tracking the system's next move, but also our rain totals so far. Paul.
Rain totals are getting kind of crazy. They look like snow totals when you see them, but that's how much rain has fallen. Storm is beginning to move out. Not gone yet. This time tomorrow we'll be 99% finished with the storm, but right now we are anything but. Southeastern Orange County, portions of the Inland Empire, including Temecula, Lake Elsinore, and then Dana Point north to Mission Viejo. You have seen pouring rain now for about 3.5 straight hours. South into San Diego County, and then north along the coastline all the way to Huntington Beach. Light to moderate rain continues. Look at all of that heavy rain in the Inland Empire. You may get an additional inch of rainfall this afternoon on top of the half a foot of rain you've had over the past couple days. Mountain snowfall continues as well. The rain is a bit more scattered in LA County, but you can see what's heading your way. It's going to be a very wet lunch hour and some heavier showers and downpours re-entering Ventura County. Here we go again. Flash flood warning continues until 1 o'clock. Central and southern Orange County, northern San Diego County. Flooding has been ongoing this morning. It continues. Now to those rainfall topals. I'll start at the bottom. Can you believe the bottom of the list is 8 inches of rain? Well, that's downtown Los Angeles. Agoura Hills, nearly 9. Woodland Hills, almost a foot. Topanga Canyon, almost a foot. And there's a weather recording station in the hills above Bel Air, a little bit higher in elevation than most houses. 15.5 inches of rainfall since Sunday. And right now, Los Angeles is sitting at its third wettest 3-day rainfall ever, with more than 8 inches of rain since Sunday. This is kind of crazy, some of these rainfall totals. We'll talk about when this does move out, what happens after that. Amy, coming up.
All right, Paul, thanks so much. We are following breaking news. A mudslide has caused 3 homes to be evacuated in Hacienda Heights. Assignment manager Mark Liu live at the desk with the SkyCal video and all the details, Mark.
Yeah, Amy, so a huge amount of mud came into the backyard of one home all the way up to the back wall of the home, and it's affecting 2 other homes as well. All 3 are evacuated. Now, SkyCal is overhead. We're going to try and get you the best picture possible here, but there is a weather system moving in. You can see down there here, this home on Gotera Drive, right near Garona Drive. This is on the southern hillside of Hacienda Heights. Look at all of that mud that has come down into the backyard of this home here in Hacienda Heights, and it looks like it has caved in the back wall as well. You can see some of the contents of that room right there are sticking out through that hole, but all of those city workers and firefighters from Hacienda Heights now are helping this family by digging out all of that mud. Now, there's 2 other homes on either side. The one to the left there, they also have mud in the backyard, but it looks like they're elevated, so there really wasn't any damage to the house, but there could be some mud in the backyard and underneath that balcony. The home to the right looks like they escaped most of the worst of it, but that home in the center, wow, I'll tell you, it looks like there is a ton of mud. This is the home. It looks like there's just a lot of rain and water there. But that home in the middle there, definitely taking a lot of damage from that mud. We don't have any information about any injuries here, but there is a lot of work to be done in the back of this home as the mud is back there. Now, I want to tell you about another breaking story that we're following here at the assignment desk. This is a live look at the Santa Monica Pier, which has been closed for the better part of 2.5 hours because of a bomb threat that was emailed in. The Santa Monica PD say they received that bomb threat, and out of an abundance of caution, they have evacuated the entire Santa Monica Pier this afternoon, and they are doing a security sweep from one end to the other. Now, a little bit earlier, we did see police officers and other crews working on the Santa Monica Pier, but no other human beings this morning and this afternoon have been on the pier because of this full evacuation due to this bomb threat. Now, nothing has been found so far. It was just an emailed threat. Santa Monica PD says they are going to tell us if and when they find anything there and when this temporary evacuation of the Santa Monica Pier will be lifted when the scene is all clear. I'll keep monitoring, Amy, let you know if anything changes. Until then, that's it here from the desk. I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Well, power is cut off in a Brentwood neighborhood after 2 trees fell, taking down several power poles with them. And the mess is making it impossible for people to drive in and out of the area. KCAL News reporter Cara Fenstrom continues our storm watch coverage.
It actually looks like 2 giant eucalyptus trees came crashing down in this neighborhood early this morning. You can see one of them right behind us here, and those very thick power lines that are running right in between the branches. I did speak with someone here with LADWP. He tells me at least 6 poles came down, possibly more. He says when the first one came down, there was a domino effect of sorts with the others then falling too. Let's give you a look from above. This was shot from SkyCal. That same person with LADWP says someone from the nearby Whole Foods came up to let them know they are without power. LADWP reports more than 2,000 customers in the Brentwood area here don't have electricity right now, and many of those outages are likely due to this. The tree or trees came down here near the intersection of Saltaire and Bundy, and on top of the outages, it has cut off access to sunset for homes that are further up this hillside. Here's what we learned from one of those homeowners.
This is the biggest tree I've seen down ever, and I've lived in the canyon about 20 years. I live a few blocks up. We're facing being blocked in the canyon for probably the rest of the day, maybe half the day tomorrow.
You can't drive down from where you are.
No, you can walk, but you can't get your car out.
It's not clear exactly how long it will take to clean this all up and to restore all that power, but crews are at work, and the really good news in all of this, nobody was hurt. Cara Finstrom, KCAL News.
That is the best news, Cara. Thank you. In Tarzana, a mudslide damaged at least 3 homes, and one is actually teetering on the edge. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is there to show us the damage.
There is a lot to clean up here in Tarzana. You see behind me this mangled fence among all the branches that came down when this mudslide happened. This was on Sunday night into Monday, so around 2 a.m. Monday. And look at the hillside. I mean, so much of the earth moved, came sliding down here, and then right across the street. Crews actually were out here from the LAFD in a bulldozer, and they cleared this path on Boris Street here, but so much came down, entire trees even. They're not that big, but it is a lot of earth that has moved here. Let's show you some video from around the corner on Boris Drive. There is a home now that is red tagged because another landslide happened. That one came from above and went right into that property. It took out a power pole as well as several trees, and the home above it, where the ground gave way, it exposed the foundation of that home. We also flew SkyCal over that neighborhood when we were able to launch because of a break in the storm, and you could see just how much earth had moved. So 3 homes involved there, one of them at least red tagged, the other may be yellow tagged or red tagged. We're not quite sure yet, but there is just a lot to clean up here. Homeowners are going to have to figure out how to deal with all of the damages they have. And then, of course, LADWP crews have to come in, take care of that power pole. Just a lot of them, a lot of work for them to have to take care of. And the concern for more landslides, mudslides, debris flow still stays with us even days after this storm passes. In Tarzana, Rick Montanez, KCAL News.
All right, Rick, and our storm coverage doesn't end here. We'll be updating you on the rain throughout this newscast. We head out to the Inland Empire, where there's been some flooding and storm damage there as well. Well, several vehicles, including 3 big rigs, were involved in crashes along the eastbound 210 freeway in Monrovia. This all started around 2:30 this morning, just east of Huntington Avenue. When law enforcement arrived, they found vehicles piled up and the sound wall smashed. 2 people were taken to the hospital, but the CHP tells us it appears they weren't badly hurt.